Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday evening. Thank you to nearly 100 people waiting for me. Appreciate that. Thanks to everyone in the comments section as well already. One comment that stood out to me was Deek Omar. Ozil is not going. Watch him get 20 assists next season. Well, let's hope he does if he stays. He's never done that in a season before, so it'll be the best season he's ever had, my friend. But I can't see it if we're being completely honest. I don't think you believe that either, mate. But who knows? But yes, let's get into the story about Mesut Ozil. He was obviously linked, as we know, to, well, offered, not linked. We tried to offer him to Napoli, Inter Milan and Juventus in January. They didn't want to have a look at him. They didn't want anything to do with him. And good evening, Steve. Long time no speak, my friend. They were offered him. They didn't want him for obvious reasons. The fact that he ain't what he used to be. I don't think we've ever seen the best of him at Arsenal. He looks like he's fallen out of love with the game. And the last couple of seasons, he's been nothing short of a disgrace, in my opinion. That is only my opinion. I know people will still make every excuse in the book for him. They'll throw pie charts at you. They'll throw assist stats. I don't care about an assist. You get an assist for winning a penalty if the penalty taker then goes and scores it. If the penalty taker actually misses the penalty and it hits the post, for example, and somebody follows up and scores, the penalty taker gets the assist. What a fucked up stat that is. Assists don't mean nothing to me. But there is a story going around this evening. It broke earlier on this afternoon. It's gaining a bit of traction that Arsenal have offered Mesut Ozil to Istanbul. They have offered him to Galatasaray and to Fenerbahce, and we are offering to fund part of that deal by subsidising his wages, which are astronomical. I'll get my words out in a minute. 350 grand a week. Now, for me, I think that it was a joke giving him that in the first place, off of the back of a 5th place and a 6th place finish. Oh, here you go. Here's another 210 grand a week you don't deserve. Now, I think the only reason we kept him is the fact that we'd let Alexis Sanchez walk out to Man United and swapped him with Henrik Mkhitaryan. So the fan base would have gone into absolute meltdown had we have got rid of Ozil as well. But we kept the wrong horse, in my opinion. I know Sanchez has gone to Man United and absolutely flopped. I don't think that would have been the case had he have stayed. And had he have stayed at Arsenal, I think he wouldn't have deteriorated that quickly. He's obviously not happy in Manchester. And sometimes the grass isn't greener, as a lot of people will tell you. So, like I said, if we can subsidise a part of his wages, which is the reports going around this evening, I'm all for it. And I'll get him on the first plane to Turkey, get him out of the club, get him off the wage bill. Thanks for the memories. It's time to say goodbye. It's nearly time to say goodbye because my Mac's about to die as well. So I better put that on charge. There we go. We are now charging. If we can get him gone, that frees up 350 grand. Let's say we pay half of it and pay 175 grand. There's another 175 grand we can put towards somebody that will have more of an impact on the team going forward. Somebody that Unai Emery will want, because let's be pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious here. Let's be clear with this, right? He don't rate him. He drops him at the very start of the season. After the first game of the season, he called him out and said he needs to work more. The Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, he was hauled off after 64 minutes and done absolutely nothing. One of his worst ever games, and there's a lot of them. But that was one of his worst ever games, Chelsea away this season. The following game, there was reports going around in the media, and I know this is true as well. 100% I know this is fact. I've heard it from 2 people that work at the club. I'm not going to say who they are because that'd just be stupid. But 2 separate people have told me that the training ground bust up, or they were training at the Emirates that night because they changed the routine. Rather than training at Colney the day before the game, Emery wanted them to get familiar with the settings. He wanted to get familiar with the settings. So when we played against West Ham, we trained at the Emirates and we continued that for the rest of the season, the night before, the day before. And he had a massive row with him because he wasn't being picked for the starting 11. Ozil then jumps in his car, sped out the Emirates car park the wrong way round. It's a one-way system. Parked down there a few times. and he sped out of the Emirates the wrong way. Decided to go home, spat his dummy out because he weren't playing. Which I suppose on one hand you could say, well, that's cool. Obviously he wanted to play, but at the same time, if you ain't doing what the manager requires, who the fuck are you? You know, at the end of the day, you do as the manager asked, and if you ain't doing as he asks, you ain't getting picked. Whether you're Mesut Ozil, fucking Aubameyang, Mustafi, the tea lady, or the bin man, if you ain't doing your job properly, you ain't getting picked. Simple as that. He's probably on some sort of bonus where if he plays X amount of games or if he scores in a game and stuff like that. So Emery dropped him for that game, left him out the team against, I think it was Brighton away or Bournemouth away, and said it was for tactical reasons. In fact, I think it was actually Crystal Palace. Said it was for tactical reasons. There was a lot of away games where he was dropped, sat on the bench. And then to top it off, at the very back end of the season, the last game of the season, he walked around the fucking pitch in Baku like the whole world owed him something. And then when a young kid, Joe Willock, is warming up, standing ready to come on, the guy walks off, slumped shoulders with that languid style he has, walked off the pitch like we were 3-1 up instead of 3-1 down. He'd done it before. I can't remember what game it was, but he'd done it with Iwobi. Walked off so slow, didn't give him any sort of encouragement to go onto the pitch. And I thought that was a disgrace what he'd done in that final. Joe Willock is a kid. He's coming on in a game that we're getting slapped about in. We're 3-1 down, and we've got 20 minutes to try and salvage something. How about run off the pitch, go and give him a cuddle and all that, give him some words of encouragement as one of the 5 captains at this football club, by the way. Give him some words of encouragement and tell him, come on, lad, go and get yourself into the game. It's a big game for you. It was Joe Willock's biggest ever game in his career so far. And the way he walked off of the pitch was a fucking disgrace. But with that being said, he has had good times at the club. He has been involved in 3 cup wins. How much you believe he put into that is entirely up to you. There's this myth going around that because we signed him, we suddenly won 3 cups. Well, come on. Let's look at the actual realism here, yeah? How many goals, excuse me, how many goals and assists did he get in any of them 3 cup runs? Or in fact, combine all 3 of them cup runs together. So, you know, listen, love him or hate him, he could be gone. And for the sake of this football club moving forward, as Kenny Ken always tells me and everyone else, the club is the star, not Mesut Ozil. He's an employee. The same with everybody else at the club. So the club is the star. Now, if we get rid of him, that helps our club move forward, and it gets a massive chunk of wages off the wage bill, which shouldn't have been given to him in the first place, and is a disgrace that it was given to him. And thankfully, the 2 clowns that gave it to him are no longer at this football club. Now we need to get him out of the football club for the better of the football club. So we shall see what happens. This is probably going to rumble on, and he'll probably still be here. Now, I know a lot of people think because he was in the advert for the Adidas kit that he will still be here because of that. That's not necessarily true. That could have been filmed months ago for all we know. We knew Adidas was coming in. We knew the kit weeks and weeks back, maybe even months back, maybe back in, end of April? I think somebody broke the kit. Might have been the beginning of May, but the kit has been out and about for about 6 weeks now. So Arsenal obviously knew what the kit was. Adidas knew what the kit was, and they've known for a long, long time. So that could have been filmed maybe March, April, May, this month. Who knows? Now, there's been players in the past that have modelled kits for the new kit launch and then been sold. Can't remember which one was it from Bayern Munich. What's his name, man? Can't remember. He went to United. Can't remember his name. But yeah, he modelled the kit. He was in their kit promotion, and then 2 days later signed for Man United. So, you know, it has been done before, and just because he's in that don't mean anything. Yes, I know he's an Adidas footballer. Yes, I know it's an Adidas advert. So I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, whether you love him or hate him, Bastian Schweinsteiger, thank you very much. That's him. But whether you love him or hate him, everyone can now I think everyone's in agreement that the guy is nowhere near the level he was when we signed him, and it is to the detriment of this football club keeping him. Now, why would he leave? Let's be real. Let's look at the short and curlies of it. He's on $350 a week. He lives in one of the best parts of London. He's just got married to Miss Turkey. Life's good for him right now. Why would he leave? He'll put up a fight. We know that. It'll probably be more of a fight than he puts up on the pitch, but he'll put up some sort of fight. But I do genuinely think if a team in Turkey come in for him, we've seen that his best man at his wedding was the president, is it? I can't remember, Erdogan. I think he's the president or somebody in power over in Turkey. Obviously, that was his best man at his wedding. So Turkey could be appealing to him. The money, obviously, that won't be an issue for 2 seasons because we're going to subsidise it. So if this happens, happy days. I'll be over the moon. It'll be a massive step forward in this football club's future. So Fenerbahce are bankrupt, so I don't think it'd be a wise move. Or maybe you lot can have him at Man United then, Phil. Maybe a swap for Sanchez, yeah? But yeah, I think that this has got some sort of weight to it. It's just who wants him now. And I think that, yeah, the Prime Minister, that's it. But yeah, if we can get him off the books or half of his wages off the books while we fund the other half, then I think that is a massive, massive statement by this football club. And it would be a big step forward going forward because at the end of the day, he shouldn't have been given it. We all know that now. We couldn't sign anybody in January because our wage bill was maxed out. And he takes up about 5% of the wage bill. So, you know, one player on 5% of the wage bill is on more money than De Bruyne, Hazard, Salah, Harry Kane, all these players that are better than him in terms of output. You know, whether you think Harry Kane's a good footballer or not is irrelevant. He's still got a better output and affects a game more than Mesut Ozil. And there's maybe 25, 30 players in the top 10 teams that have performed better than him that are on a fraction of the money. If you look at Alex Iwobi, like I've said before, whether you like him or not, he is being shoehorned into a left forward position when he's a number 10. Now, if you put Mesut Ozil on the left forward position, would he have got the stats this season that Alex Iwobi got? No way. No way. You can't take a man on. He slows the team down. He can't be asked after time. Not for me. That's my 12 minutes, 10-second rant on him. Let's read some of your thoughts on him. Thank you to 400 people watching live. Please do be kind enough to put a like on the video. Very, very close to 19,000 subscribers as well. So big up every one of you that subscribed. So yeah, man. Thurman says it's infuriating to me that Arsenal and Adidas put so much effort into making a kit video and not into rebuilding the squad we once had. It shows Arsenal manipulate us for money. They are well aware of the issues. So I kind of agree. I mean, that advert wouldn't have been cheap to make. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? But at the same time, it's very hard to get rid of a player that's on 350 grand a week, mate, especially when he's 30, coming towards the end of his career. You know, so it is very difficult. I'm sure the club are trying to get rid of him. I'm sure the club are trying to get rid of other players in the team, Mustafi being another one. But problem is when these players are on massive contracts and their output don't want a contract, they're very comfortable and they will not get offered that sort of money anywhere else. So it is very hard to get rid of players that are on stupid contracts. The fan base will be toxic if we sell him. Well, it's for the best for the club, mate. So there we go. Ozil's the most overrated footballer on the planet, says William Mackenzie. Mate, he's the most overrated player Arsenal have ever had, in my opinion. Do you know what, right? Any older fans that are watching, right? Any older Arsenal fans will remember Charlie Nicholas. He is back then what Mesut Ozil is today. 50-50 split. It's probably more than 50% now that don't want him here. But back then, Charlie Nicholas was the modern day Ozil back then. And it took for a manager of George Graham to come in and go, fuck off, mate, see you later, we're selling you. And that's exactly what happened. And then guess what? We sold him and won a couple of titles. So didn't end up too bad, did it? Let's see if we can do that again with Ozil. With Milan's ban in Europe, do you think Arsenal is waiting to see if Man City gets the same before they pull the trigger on signings, says Nova Gunner. Thanks for your donation as well, mate. I appreciate that from you, mate. And good question. I'm not so sure. And I'll be honest, I don't know when the hearing for Man City is. Is there a hearing? I don't know when that's going to be. Or is it just going to be a statement put out by UEFA and FIFA saying, bye, you're banned? I don't know, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be stopping us signing players. We're Arsenal. We should be signing players. regardless. And I do think we're going to sign players. I think we're waiting for the 1st of July. Transfers normally go through in July. If you look at our 3 or 4 of our 5 transfers last season, they were done in July. One was on the 2nd, I think 2 were on the 11th. So yeah, that shouldn't put us off signing players. Big time Charlie, exactly. Champagne Charlie, mate. Just he turned up when he felt like it. When he was good, and when he was crap, he was crap. When is the first Arsenal training session? Well, for pre-season, I'm not sure, mate, to be honest with you. I have no idea. It's so depressing being a gooner, says Krishan. Chill, man. We can't change anything right now, so let's just be chill, mate. You know, at the end of the day, the kit comes out on Monday. I think there's going to be record sales on that kit. The fact that Adidas are involved, the fact that it's a nice kit, and the fact that we've had shit kits for years, mate, I think that's going to have record sales. So that'll get a bit of a buzz in the fan base, the fact that fans can go and buy the new kit. And then hopefully after that, within the next week or so, we'll have a few signings on the board, and all of a sudden, everything's looking rosy again. So, yeah, man, I'm not being negative or pessimistic right now. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Gunner Town podcast name. Thank you for that, Kartik. Thank you. 15th of July is when we fly out to the US. First training will be a few days before that, says UMP. Thanks for clarifying that, mate. And that's the thing as well. We are flying out on the 15th. I think it's the 15th. I think you're right there, mate. So listen, we need to have signings done by then. So we've got just over 2 weeks now to get a couple of deals wrapped up. And listen, it ain't just Arsenal that are in this position. Man United are the same. You know, Man United signed Wan-Bissaka, but they ain't even announced it yet. So everybody knows it's done, but they ain't announced it yet. So, you know, it's you know, I think the fact that social media plays a massive part in football now, the fact that they put things on social media, the players, the football clubs, they unveil players with some funky thing like a Sanchez playing a piano, like the Chilean Alicia Keys. You know, I think that's made football fans so impatient now. You know, every time we're linked to a player, within seconds, you know, everyone's an expert on him because social media plays a part. And you can go and Google the guy, you can go and YouTube him, you can go and look at his stats. So in some ways it's good, in other ways I think it's bad because it's made everyone impatient on signing. So, you know, William Saliba has apparently been done for 2 weeks and might not be announced for another 2. Tierney we're bidding for. That's fact. Neil Lennon said it himself. So I don't know, man. I just think that we need to all just chill, man. Like, just enjoy football, like, enjoy Arsenal again. That's what I'm doing anyway. Saliba is equal to Vieira rated by our fans. That's the problem, mate. Yeah, he's going to come in with a hefty price tag for a kid. He's going to come in a hero before he even plays a game, and he could end up being the next Mustafi. Let's be honest here. We don't know fuck all about him. So, yeah, we shall see exactly what happens. The media love to tease us fans on transfer windows, and we are a comedy act to them, cheap entertainment. It's exactly that. You know, it's all about them having people read their stuff, and I get that. Listen, I'm on YouTube. I don't expect nobody not to watch my stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting videos up every day. You know, so they're not writing articles for nobody to read it. The same as you're not putting a tweet out for nobody to see it, or you're not posting a picture on Instagram for nobody to see it. You know, so I get that the media, you know, use fancy words, like they use certain words that get people's attention, like war chest, like Arsenal's £40 million war chest, or Arsenal in double raid. It stands out, it gets your attention, and then you go, oh, I'll click on that. Yeah, and that's exactly what they're designed to do. The fact is that if you actually add up how many or what percent of the transfer stories that they leak are actually correct, it's probably 0.1%. So yeah. Stop moaning. I'm not moaning, man. I'm loving life. I hope you are too. United are doing business quick, says Leon Khan. Well, they've only signed that is it David or Daniel James from Swansea? And as far as we know, they've signed Wan-Bissaka. But Man United's problems are as big as ours, if not bigger, because they've got players that are on a hell of a lot more money than our players that are quite comfortable. How are they shifting Pogba? How are they shifting Sanchez? How are they shifting other players? They've given Smalling, Luke Shaw, not Luke Shaw, Smalling, Ashley Young, Phil Jones. They've given all of them new contracts, and it's like, wow, is this really Man United? So they've got bigger issues than us, but obviously they've got bigger spending power than us because they're a bigger football club, and their income's a lot bigger, so they can go out and spend more. So I think that we just need to wait and see in the next week or so. I got the notification late. Can you recap on this? Basically, for anybody who is joining late, firstly, put a like on the video. I appreciate that. 500 people watching live, not nearly enough likes. But basically, Mesut Ozil is being offered around Turkey right now to clubs out in Turkey, Fenerbahce, Istanbul, and Galatasaray. And we're offering to subsidise some of the wages to get him on a 2-year loan deal to Turkey. So yeah, man, that's the short of it. Is Tottenham signing Ndombele true, says Carlos. See, that's another one. Apparently he was at the training ground a couple of days ago and he still ain't been announced. So I don't know. And that's the thing. These clubs, right, they're not going to sit there and tell you every single thing they're doing. I said this on an earlier stream. They're not going to, why should they tell everyone? At the end of the day, it's a transfer deal. It's a bit of business that the club are doing. Why are they going to go and tell everyone their exact movements 24/7 just to appease a couple of guys online? No business works like that. So I don't know if they've signed him, but I'm sure if they have signed him, it won't be announced until July, because that's when most of the transfers get put through, is July. So the fact that everyone's in meltdown because we haven't signed anybody yet, well, the only signing that has actually gone through is Man United's. So Man United's one for the lad from Swansea. And I know Liverpool have signed a young kid for a couple of £1 million or whatever it was. How many big deals have been done? Yeah, it's all great saying that Wan-Bissaka and Ndombele are done. Well, they ain't official yet, so are they done? Or is there something that's not been done in them deals? So it's all speculation at the minute. And I think everyone just needs to chill out and just wait until July. And then by the time we fly off to America, if we ain't done some business, I think everyone could be rightly entitled to have a meltdown about it. Prime Ibra or Prime Henry? Is that a trick question, Ben? Henry all day long, man. Would you have Ndidi? Says Abab. Yes, I would, mate. All day long I'd take him. Brilliant player. Do you think we should be getting a more experienced centre-back than Saliba? Yes, I do. Especially if we're going to loan him straight out. I wouldn't mind having him if we signed another one to go with. So then we've got 4 half-decent centre-backs with Socrates, Holding, Saliba and one other. But to just get him and then loan him back out would be a massive mistake. Name someone better than Ozil we can sign this summer, says Cameron. Well, you for a start, mate. Anybody who can run, anybody who can track back, anyone who can tackle. So yeah, anyone who's not scared to have a shot, so decides to square it. How is Zaha even a story? We'll offer 20 million and nowhere near the 80 they want, says Daniel. See, that's the thing, mate, right? He ain't 80 million quid. But then when you look at Wan-Bissaka going for 50 and Zaha's their best player, then based on that, he probably is 80. But not for me, mate. He's 40 million. 40 million. Get Ziyech, says Derek. I'd get him, mate. Definitely. Georgie, the Leicester fan, says I'd have Ndidi over any Arsenal player. Wow, that's a bold statement, that, mate. even over Laka or Aubameyang. Zahari's 80 because United get 25% of the fee. That's exactly that. So Crystal Palace are trying to put the price up. I think we're all in agreement that he ain't going to go for £80 million because no fucker's going to pay it. He ain't worth it. So they're going to have to suffer having a player that's unhappy or sell him for cheaper than they want to sell him for, because there ain't nobody stupid enough to pay £80 million for him, not even us. Not even Man United. Man United wouldn't go and pay £80 million for him, and they spunk money on everyone. Xavi or Iniesta? Xavi, man. I see him when we played the 2-2 at the Emirates. That was probably one of his best ever games. He was fucking amazing that night. Why, there's so many links in this. Yeah, mate, it's mad. I don't know where all these... It's not just my streams it happens. It happens everywhere, mate. I was watching the Football Terrace yesterday, and it was happening on there as well. Thank God we're not linked to Pepe anymore. His performance was really bad against Morocco today, says Salia. See, this is the thing. He's a young player, right? And sometimes these players look absolutely fantastic when they're in their comfort zone. Sometimes they get put out of their comfort zone and they look crap. So it's always a big risk. It's always a big risk when you go and spend massive money, or not even massive money, but just money on a footballer, because you never know what type of footballer you get him. Whether he's been good for the other club or not is irrelevant. So yeah, it is always a risk. France are losing 2-0 to USA. Really? Wow. That's a good point as well about someone who's had one good season. That Pepe's had one good season. Yeah, £80 million off of one season. Like, that's a hell of a lot of money to spend on a footballer for one good season. We see that, what was the guy's name? I did my daily transfer update about him the other day. Keita Balde-Diao. Yeah. One good season at Lazio. All of a sudden, man's a hero, big deal. And then he's been a flop ever since. So it's very, very easy to lose a fortune spending out on a player that's had one good season. You know, Atletico Madrid could find out about that if they signed that João Felix for 115 million. That's massive, massive pressure on that kid. He's a good player, but that is massive pressure on a kid. And he's going to go in. He's not exactly the biggest lad in the world, and he could get fucking scared stiff when he meets Simeone. Let's get Dan Lewis on home from Love Island. Cheers for your donation, mate. Thank you for that, John. Thank you. Yeah, thank you to 530 people that have decided to sack Love Island off. You can watch it on +1. Not that I will be doing that, but you're more than welcome to. It's up to you what you do. Please stick a like on the video if you're enjoying the content. 530 people, 113 likes. Come on, people, drive the likes up. What about our right back problem? Sign Nathaniel Klein from Liverpool, says Louis. I would have signed him before he went to Liverpool. I don't think I'd sign him now, if I'm being honest. Kem is better than half of our players. Scored a banger the other day. Argentina are 2-0 up against Venezuela. I haven't watched any football, man. Seriously. I haven't watched any of it. Crumpets or pancakes? I love crumpets, man. Stick them in the toast and make them proper crispy. Do you know what? The amount of people that have asked me if that was Claude in the kit launch, the kit video in the fish and chip shop. Do you know what, right? I went back and I watched it a few times, yeah, and I can see why you're saying that, but no, it's not him. Or at least I don't think it's him. But yeah, a lot of people have said that to me. Aaron's from Norwich is a good shout for right back. He's a decent player, mate. Very good player. Still young as well, so he'd come in and play second fiddle to Bellerin and play cup games and stuff like that. Tierney is woeful. Awful, sorry. 1 goal, 6 assists last season, plus injury prone. Well, if you look at his stats for Celtic overall, and you like looking at stats, his stats are actually fantastic for a left back. So, yes, he might have had a bad season and been injured a few times, but mate, the geezer's miles better than Kolasinac and miles better than Monreal. Right, I'm going to do another couple of minutes and get myself off out of here. Don't forget, you can go back and check out. I did a live, well, actually, it weren't live. I did a reaction to watching the Adidas kit video. I put that on the channel about 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. If you haven't seen the advert, obviously I'm watching it. That'll be on the screen in the video, so you get to see it as well. And also, don't forget my daily transfer update. I dropped that earlier today as well. And there'll be another one tomorrow morning. Martinelli will be announced at the kit launch. He's been pictured in London, says Keith. Do you know what? Somebody was following him around Leicester Square the other day, man. I see the pictures on Twitter. So, yeah, it could be. S.Teov 666 says everyone plays that shit FIFA or classic Evo and thinks, wow, his stats are good, we should sign him. That's not how it works. Mate, it's not how it works. And everyone that was saying to me the other week when I was talking about how transfers work, about how you pay in installments and stuff like that, the last tweet I posted, League Under 82 on Twitter, go and check it out. It's a video from Tifo Football where they explain in detail how a transfer works. So, yeah, you don't necessarily pay up front, like I said. So all the 14-year-olds that were telling me I ain't got a clue about football, go and educate yourselves and go and have a look at that video. Yeah, you've missed most of the show again, mate. You've joined well late. I'm about to wrap up any minute now. 33 minutes I've been going. Where do these links come from? I have no idea, mate, but it's not just my streams. It happens in a lot of people's streams. So, yeah, it's mad. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it. But Football Terrace, when I was watching this stream yesterday, it was just non-stop for about 40 minutes, mate. So, oh, look, we have Spurs fans back again. Obsessed much? Flamini's going to buy Arsenal and give Ozil a pay rise of 500 grand a week. You're mad. Right, I think I am probably going to end up on leaving it there. Thank you to everyone who has watched live, all the comments, the donations as well, massively appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's commented. If I didn't read it out, don't be offended, but they do go very quickly. So yeah, go back and check out the videos from today. This is the 4th video of the day, so go and check the other 3 out. And I'll be back tomorrow with another daily transfer update at 7 AM. So if you are up bright and early in England, feel free to watch it. It's going to be an absolute scorcher tomorrow, about 33 degrees, they're saying. So yeah, going to be good. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Thanks very much and enjoy your Friday evening. Laters, peeps.